Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank each of the witnesses for being here. I represent the 11th District in Pennsylvania, which Mr. Benning is a strong agricultural district, always interested in ensuring that we have robust markets around the world, also a strong manufacturing district. So trade, very important to my constituents in the district that I represent. And there's not a lot of daylight here today between the views of both parties. That's, by the way, that's somewhat unusual as a Ways and Means hearing this year, if you haven't been watching, but it's encouraging. And I've learned so much from each of you about not only the importance of the strategic importance of doing this, and you've also, so I think all of you agree, it's important we do a bilateral trade agreement for a variety of reasons, for those markets, for the geopolitical security in the area, and so on and so forth. But yet, it doesn't seem to be happening. We are not, you all have also agreed, or most of you at least have agreed, that you didn't think you think the administration could be doing more. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you've pretty much said that. So my question literally is, what all of us, in a bipartisan basis, all of you see the real, very real benefits in strengthening those ties and achieving a bilateral agreement. So why isn't it occurring? We also have heard today, I think, that Taiwan would mostly see it's beneficial. We know there are issues that would need to be worked out, but it seems that almost all parties involved think this is perhaps critical for the region that we do this. And yet the administration doesn't seem to be moving. So I'd like to hear from each of you, and maybe I'll start with Nick Glauser. Why do you think that's occurring? And like, what's your strategy? What could we be doing to sort of move the ball down the field on this? And again, this perhaps is a criticism of the administration because particularly, at least on the Republican side, we feel like there has not been enough attention given to new trade agreements. We think there's a lot of opportunity out there. But it's also, I'd really like to know, what objection do you think exists within the administration to being, to really moving on a bilateral agreement? If you just respond, and I'll give everybody an opportunity to do that if you'd like. Ms. Glauser, do you want to start? Yes, please.
I thought I was last, not first. Apologies. Quick answer so that everybody will have time. You have a lot of cheerleaders in the administration, actually, who work on the Indo-Pacific, who work on Taiwan, who work on China, who really would like to see a trade agreement with Taiwan.
So why isn't it happening?
My understanding is that you have other people in the administration who want to focus on worker-centered economic policy and believe that our trade agreements in the past have not benefited American workers. And so they have set that aside, particularly with Taiwan, to do something else. And they are not negotiating trade agreements. I'm not a trade expert, but I feel like on the list of priorities in this administration, as you say, trade is not very high because they're worried about the negative impact on American workers and American interests. So it falls to you to persuade them that this is in the interests of Americans, that we can sign trade agreements that will benefit us. We can have good trade agreements. And as people have said, the USMCA provides some good things that we can use and apply to Taiwan.
Thank you. Mr. Wood?
Congressman, I'm going to give you a slightly different answer, although I don't disagree. But the answer that I'm going to give is some of what we see in scope here is driven by politics in Taiwan. It is a democracy just like ours. President Tsai is term limited. There's a desire to get a deal done with her and to get a deal done quickly, and the campaign season is going to kick in 2023 in Taiwan. So what we have in the 21st Century Initiative is a scope of what people think could be achievable this year in the near term to sort of just get something done. That's a stepping stone to doing more, but as we all know, doing more on trade is very difficult in the campaign season. And we're going to be entering our own 2024. And so that's why I think you've seen the initiative. It's not the end-all be-all, but it's a politically pragmatist approach that's being taken by this administration.
Ms. Bowder-Blau, we have a few seconds. I'm sorry, I don't have time for both of you.
Falls outside the expertise of my organization.
Yeah. Mr. Benning?
Well, just quickly, I think the USMCA was mentioned. I really can't address why the current administration is not working on it on Taiwan harder, but I think if we get encouragement from this committee, and I know from our organization, we work through Secretary Vilsack as well, encouragement there to the administration. Let's use MCA as the template. Let's show folks that that is a good start. I know there's worker issues, but we have to start somewhere and just get, I mean, maybe we won't be successful, but at least let's get around the table and try.
Thank you.